So today we are making these fabulous recycled bags, like this wonderful taco night bag, out of newspaper, and there are a couple supplies that you'll need first. You have to pick out your newspaper. You can use any small newspaper rather than the big Providence Journal, because that won't work. You'll have to end up using too much waste. We also have our scissors or hole punch, yarn, packing tape, glue. Elmer's works really well, and any box that you want to use. For consistency purposes, we are using graham cracker boxes, not because we have a lot of graham cracker boxes or anything like that, but we want them all to all be the same size. So the very first step, once you have all your materials together, is to lay out your newspaper. So we're going to do the whole bundle of newspaper, but we're not going to use it all at once. So the first step is to fold it over about 2 inches, like that. You also want to kind of pay attention to what's on the outside of your bag. So if I folded this over, there would be this picture of these strange people on the outside of my bag and not the fun tacos. So I may or may not want to use this page depending on your personal preferences. But you can flip the page over also if you don't like what's on one side. And that way it's on the inside and no one has to see it. So now that I've got my paper creased, I'm actually only going to use the first 2 pages. And I can set these aside over here and use them for the next bag. So the first step in the gluing process is putting glue along that top seam, like this, folding it over. Put glue on the second page, fold it over, and then I want to make sure that these 2 pages don't fall apart from one another once I start to put the bag together. So I'm going to open them up and glue a little bit here on the edge and here on the edge. I don't have to go all the way to the bottom because I'm going to actually trim that off. I'm going to fold it so that it's nice and flat. Now I'm going to measure my paper so I know that I have the right size. I'm going to put my box right along the crease of the center fold of the newspaper. And I'm going to cut about 3 inches from the edge of the box. Now if you have different size newspapers, this is kind of where it depends on how much you'd cut off if your paper was bigger or smaller, because all the 3 papers I showed you are all a little bit different in size, so there's no precise measurement. So then I'm just going to kind of check to see what's on the outside of my bag. Nothing too offensive. I'm going to fold this piece up. Some glue here. I don't have to go all the way to the bottom, just to the edge of the box. Fold that over like that. Now when you fold this over, there's a chance that you might rip the paper right here, so you have to be kind of extra careful. Flip my box a couple times. And then put more glue here. Fold that over, like that. Okay, now I'm going to stand it up straight. And I actually have even a little bit too much paper here because you're going to be wrapping it like a present, so you want to think about how much paper you really need on the end. And you can trim a little bit off if need be. Fold the one side down, crease this here and here, and then fold the sides over. Fold that down like that. So you have it wrapped like a present. I'll leave that there for now. Now that my creases are all made, I don't have to worry about it going anywhere. And we're using packing tape. You could glue it, but it takes a long time to dry, and then you'll have to use multiple boxes, and we just want to use one box rather than having a ton of boxes laying out all over the table. And it also helps to strengthen the bottom of your box. Okay, so now before I take my paper bag out of my box, I'm going to go through and crease the edges. This is going to help you fold it a little bit. Crease it here. Help reinforce the shape of my box. Slide it right out. Okay, and now I'm going to find roughly the middle and fold it like that. Should be about an inch between the fold and this and the edge. And there's really no easy way to do this next step, but kind of with practice it gets a little bit better. I'm just going to fold it, kind of push that crease down all along, and then when you get to about this far, you can fold the top part up. And that helps when you want to make a bunch of bags, and they can stay in a drawer all flat rather than standing up straight. So it's just like a lunch bag. And you want to make sure that your creases are not like popping out or anything. This one seems pretty good. Oh, there's a little one. Now, when you punch the holes for your ribbons, you want to do it not on the creased part. Because your hole puncher won't go through all those papers. You can open it up. Miss Karen, thank you for that.
Shannon, can you come upstairs, please?
And when I make the knot, I actually put the end through twice so that my knot is a little bit bigger, because if you just did a single knot, it wouldn't be big enough and it would fall through the hole. Now obviously if you had a really thin string, you could tie it up like this, but we have some pretty thick yarn here, so we can just tie a knot. One more knot and then we're almost done. Like that. Voila! There you have the paper bag.